What's up, guys? Your boy Benny. What happens when somebody lies to you? Well, you lose trust in them, and most importantly, you realize what they think of you. When someone's lying to you, it says they don't respect you. It says they think you're stupid. It says they think you can be manipulated. And you're not worthy of the truth. And that's a horrible thing to tell somebody. Also, I mean, let's just take a step back and say that those people who are liars are just bad individuals. You shouldn't hang out with liars. You shouldn't hang out with people that can't be honest with the people around them because they can't be honest with themselves and says bad things about who they are, right? The insecurities and the crippling inefficiencies that lead to a habitual liar, pathological liar, makes that a nasty person, bad person. Get liars out of your life. Don't date liars, right? Don't be in relationships with liars. Don't marry people who have lied to you. You know, be away from all of that, right? That brings us along nicely to that which must be destroyed. Ladies and gentlemen, the era of Trump, but particularly the current modern day era of social media, has revealed something that we as Americans have been lied to systematically, continually, habitually by our corporate press. And the more that we see the truth and the more we are able to look through the lies, the more we're able to say with repugnance that the corporate media deserves to be destroyed. And that is exactly what's happened here, in fact. Look at this. And this is a trend that started kind of back in the 80s, actually, as the erosion in public trust and confidence in mass media began its long slide downward. Now, for Democrats, you saw a little spike right when Donald Trump was elected because they had their brains broken and they didn't know who to turn to. That's now also degraded and eroded, along with, of course, independents and Republicans who have single-digit faith in corporate media. And I'm going to explain exactly why that is merited here, ladies and gentlemen. In fact, why don't I let the owner of the Washington Post do just that, a guy named Jeff Bezos. Jeff Bezos wrote an article this week, which was stunning. The Washington Post refused, on Jeff Bezos' orders, to endorse Kamala Harris. They were planning on endorsing Kamala Harris. Jeff Bezos says, no. You're not going to do that because nobody trusts the media. Nobody trusts the media because they lie. And people know what the nature of liars are. The nature of liars means you hate your audience. Well, okay. Then the audience is going to hate you back. Go ask Disney. Go ask Bud Light. Go ask anybody who has a consumer product, which news is, if they care about their audience and if that audience cares about them. That's a healthy relationship. But if you continually disrespect your audience, like the Washington Post has and like corporate media has, then you're going to get graphs like this. Jeff Bezos making known that as the owner of the Washington Post, he's not going to go quietly into the night. And good for him. This is a crazy article. In an annual public survey about the trust and reputation, journalists and media have regularly fallen near the very bottom, often just above Congress. But in this year's Gallup poll, we managed to fall below Congress. Our profession is now the least trusted of all. Something we are doing is clearly not working. Let me give an analogy. Voting machines must meet two requirements. They must count the vote accurately, and people must believe they count the vote accurately. The second requirement is distinct from the first and just as important. Likewise, the newspapers, we have to be accurate. We must be believed to be accurate. It's a bitter pill to swallow, but we are failing on the second requirement. Most people believe that the media is biased. Anybody who doesn't see this isn't paying scant attention to reality, and in fights with reality, you lose. Reality is an undefeated champion. It would be easy to blame others for our long continued failing in credibility and therefore decline in the impact, but victim mentality will not help. Complaining is not a strategy. I mean, we must work harder to control what we can control to increase our credibility. And he goes on to say this is why there's not going to be presidential endorsements. And this also came with a directive to hire more conservatives at the Washington Post. I bet that there's probably one conservative actually working at the Washington Post. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen. And that one conservative just walked off and quit. This guy's name is Hugh Hewitt. He's the guy up there in the far top right corner. Hugh Hewitt is a moderate by every measure. He's a radio show host. He's been around for ages and a columnist. Totally decent dude. All right. He definitely does not have many hot takes. But in this exchange where Hugh Hewitt was talking. They were talking about election integrity and Donald Trump suing and winning in counties in Pennsylvania because they broke the law and shut down the vote illegally early. Hugh Hewitt gets so frustrated with the left-wing Democrat framing of this that he rips his earpiece out and walks off set. An amazing moment. Hugh Hewitt is done with the lying, done with the corporate media, and we need more moments like this. And this probably comes as a horror to Jeff Bezos, who just wrote about this problem endemic in his paper. But hot damn, more of this, please. Here's Hugh Hewitt, total gangster move, live on the Washington Post little channel.
Well, I've just got to say, we're news people, even though we're at the opinion section. It's got to be reported. Bucks County was reversed by the court and instructed to open up extra days because they violated the law and told people to go home. So that lawsuit was brought by the Republican National Committee, and it was successful. The Supreme Court ruled that Glenn Youngkin was successful. We are news people, even though we have opinions, and we have to report the whole story if we bring up part of the story. So yes, he's upset about Bucks County, but he was right, and he won in court. That's the story.
I'll let you keep going, Jonathan.
No, I don't appreciate being lectured about reporting when many times you come here saying lots of things that aren't.
I won't come back, Jonathan. I'm done. I'm done. This is the most unfair election ad I have ever been a part of. You guys are working. That's fine. I'm done.
So Ruth, you wrote a column this week ending with this line, and actually I think this is perfect. We're going to put it on the screen. You wrote, "You want to know the stakes of this election? Not only democracy, but decency." Talk more about that, Ruth.
Okay, I'm collecting myself.
Oh, Ruth froze. Ruth is frozen. So hang in there, everyone. We're going to see if we can try to get Ruth back to this We're going to get Ruth back in a moment. This is First Look, Washington Post Live's nonstop shop for news and analysis, and Ruth is back. So I'm going to read that quote back again from your column, Ruth, where you wrote, "You want to know the stakes of this election? Not only democracy, but decency." We lost her again. Everybody, if you've been watching First Look, you know that these conversations can be interesting, contentious. You just saw Hugh Hewitt leave the conversation, which is lamentable, unfortunate. It is what it is. I am Jonathan Capehart. I want to thank you all very much for joining us on First Look. For more of these important conversations, please sign up for a Washington Post subscription. You can get a free trial by going to washingtonpost.com/live. Again, washingtonpost.com/live. I'm Jonathan Capehart. Thank you for watching Washington Post Live's First Look.